Good morning, my dear students. Hope all of you are keeping fine. One day, Tenali Raman and his friend were relaxing and swinging on a hammock. Then Tenali asked his friend, "What is your dream of happiness?" The friend replied, "When I can have a big house of my own, 50 acres of fertile fields, a granary full of grain, a large herd of cattle, get married to a pretty girl, have 4 children, get them educated so that they are in good positions and become wealthy," and so on. Then Ali said, interrupting, "I get the picture, but what will you do after all that?" To this, his friend replied, "Then I can simply put up my feet and relax and enjoy the gentle breeze and the sun on my face." Surprised, Tenali asked, "But my friend, aren't you doing that right now?" What would make us happy? A much discussed and pondered question by all mankind. Undoubtedly, we too are in a search of happiness in our lives. Many a time we think happiness is related to people, circumstances, things and events. Like Tenali's friend, we also believe that we will be happy when we have a good home, family, career, car, life partner and all these things. Do they really make us happy? A deeper look at what constitutes real happiness in life would be of great help in living our lives more joyfully. That is why this topic, joy of living, what really makes us happy? Can money buy us happiness? Today, the world around us convinces us that money can get us whatever we want and that it would certainly make us happy. And quite often, we equate happiness with money. But can money really buy happiness? Happiness is not related to external factors. Rather, it is a state of being that comes from our inner self. Here, it is good to recall Siddhartha, who later became the Buddha, and how he renounced his worldly possessions for greater joy and peace. Tao Tzu says, "If your happiness depends on money, you will never be happy with yourself." Now let us see what is a meaningful, happy life. For thousands of years, philosophers have continually tried to find the answer to the meaning of life and of existence in general, because they believe that it is neither money nor pleasure that would make us really happy, but rather finding the meaning of life is the key to happiness. Dostoevsky was one of the greatest novelists of all time. Though he came from a privileged class, he had dedicated his works to the liberation of the oppressed working class. He believed that would give a meaning to his life and would bring immense joy to him. When he was only 27 years old, he and his friends were arrested and were sentenced to death. But just a few moments before the execution was to take place, a messenger rode into the scene carrying with him a pardon for him and his friends. It was a miraculous escape for Dostoevsky from death. Later, in a letter to his brother, he wrote about his new attitude towards life. "How little I appreciated life. Life is a gift. Life is happiness, and every minute can be an eternity of happiness." Once, Mother Teresa was asked, "What was the happiest moment in your life?" Mother, the recipient of many awards, including the Nobel Prize and other great recognitions from all over the world, answered with a graceful smile, "The happiest moment in my life is when I have prepared 55,000 dying people for a good death." Many a time, the things that the world recognizes as splendid and worthy might not be that which make us happy, but putting into practice the small and significant things that our conscience tells us would guide us to the great joy that would never cease in our lives. For a happy living, what is the secret? Aristotle once said, "Happiness depends on our own selves." The best way to live a happy life is to realize that it's an inside job. Happiness depends on how we live our lives, the way we perceive ourselves. And now I shall enumerate 8 means for a happy living. Number 1, nourish the soul. A Chinese proverb says, "Happiness has its roots." Many significant people in history have already pointed out that it is these roots of happiness that nourish our inner soul. Hence, practicing our faith and spending a few minutes in meditating the religious scriptures would indeed feed our soul and the deep roots of happiness within us. And nothing in this world can suppress the great joy that wells up from nourished soul. Second important point, count the blessings and be grateful. When we start to count the blessings we receive each day, we will be more grateful for every single thing in our life. The more grateful we are, the happier we live, states modern psychology. The third means, be kind and merciful. Being kind and compassionate is one of the few things we can practice to live a life of unending joy. Small acts of kindness build a bridge of love and connect us with the Almighty. In Islam, being kind to others is an important part of religious life. When we happily give up ourselves to help others, our actions are happily received. If you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion, says Dalai Lama. Fourth means, forgive and forget. This might be a rather difficult part of happy living, but we rarely realize that forgiveness is a huge factor for the happiness and well-being in our lives. When we forgive our own faults and the wrongs done to us, we experience a great peace within us. When we choose to forgive and forget, we decide within ourselves not to carry the pain, hatred, anger, and resentment, which in reality block us from being happy and fulfilled. Fifth means, spend time with family and friends. Enjoying some quality time with our dear ones makes us feel loved. Talking, listening, and understanding each other lets us know and feel how important we are and how much we care for each other. A heart-to-heart talk or a good conversation with our dear ones fills our hearts with positive vibes and energy. Sixth means, be healthy. Haven't you heard of the saying, our happiness is a reflection of our health? Often, a healthy lifestyle includes daily exercise, balanced food habits, and getting enough sleep. By paying enough attention to our physical health and engaging in healthy behavior, you will be able to develop an optimistic mindset. Seventh means be ready to cope up with difficulties. Embracing our mistakes and moving forward is an important ingredient in happy living. The best way to cope with difficulties is to accept mistakes or failures in life as opportunities for learning and personal growth. As C.S. Lewis said, hardships often prepares an ordinary person for an extraordinary destiny. This joy of a great future ahead of us would then make us move forward in life with much courage. And the last means tap the inner springs. Dr. Abdul Kalam once said, all human beings carry divinity inside themselves, and that this can lift us out of confusion, misery, melancholy, and failure, and indeed guide us when it is contracted. Realization of this great truth is the source of our inner joy, and this divine spirit is the greatest joy that we possess. Then, like Buddha and Mother Teresa, we too would be able to rejoice in our nothingness, knowing that the great presence of the divinity is within us. When we tap this inner spring, joy would gush forth, giving a new meaning to our lives. Finally, to be happy is our choice. It's an interesting story entitled Wake Me Up at Happy Land. This is a story about a man who travels in search of the happy land. He travels all around the world in every conceivable transport possible: train, taxi, tram, camel, donkey, bicycle, a merry-go-round, even a hot air balloon. But little did he know that he was sleeping throughout the journey. He saw the most beautiful sights of the world and of nature, but he was never happy and was expecting to reach the happy land soon. He was afraid that he might miss happy land, so he always carried a signboard with him saying, "Wake me up at happy land," as a reminder for this. Finally, a little girl, seeing the sign, picked him and woke him up and asked excitedly, "Are we going to happy land?" The man, on opening his eyes, saw the deep happiness in the girl's eyes. He watched her jumping and dancing with joy, telling others about the happy land. Her joyful words and smile made everyone happy. The man then realized how much he had missed the happiness around him. The story ends with the words, "In every little thing, there is happy land awaiting." Dear friends, now let us see what is the great mystery about happiness. It is our choice to be happy or not. It is not waiting and expecting, but being and experiencing every moment. Sometimes we just need to open our eyes and see the simple joys and beauty that life brings us. Be happy in the moment, that's enough. Each moment is all we need, not more, said Mother Teresa. The best way to possess this great spirit of optimistic attitude forever is to welcome every single moment of our life with gratitude. Once we try to be in the moment without any regrets from the past or any anxieties about the future, we would be able to fully live it. My dear students, now I'll give you 3 questions to be answered as a homework. Number 1, what are the things or situations that make you truly happy? Number 2, which is the happiest moment that you have lived in your life so far? Why or how has it made you happy? And finally, explain what is the mystery of happiness. Thank you, my dear students. Shall see you in the class tomorrow. bless you.